All right. So, hello, Max.
Hello.
Hello also the other. Today I have invited Max. He's an expert in cybersecurity. He's French originally. And today's webinar will be done in English. So the topic of the webinar today is cybersecurity for startups. So Max will advise us what's important to take care when we develop startups, about the cybersecurity threats, what we face, give us some advices, and so on. So, Max, please, the floor is yours. I would like first to ask you to introduce yourself,
Mhm.
and then to start with on the topic.
Yeah,
Thank you
sure.
for joining us today.
It's okay. So, yeah, as you said, I'm a businessman, and my last venture is in training in cybersecurity. Why? Because previously I was IT engineer. That's how I started my career after the studies. I spent some time in the French army as a network specialist, and then when I started business after a few years in different field, and also when I arrived in Bulgaria 4 years ago. Now I'm in Paris, but when I was in Bulgaria, I created few businesses because the country is growing. There are a lot of opportunities. Sofia is really a good place to make business. And I know a lot of Bulgarians don't think that, but as a foreigner and as a French, which is a bigger country, richer country, I can tell that Bulgaria is a really good place to make business. And my last venture was originally created because cybersecurity is kind of a broken market. Right now, companies in the world are looking for 3.5 million people. So now I'm talking about to a business audience. So you don't really care that much. But for people looking for a job, 3.5 million people are looking for. We lack nearly 4 million people in cybersecurity. So for people studying in IT, studying in AI, studying in technical field, cybersecurity is very interesting because it will bring good jobs in good company and good salaries. And because the market is growing, there is a lot of opportunities. Even if you want to start a company in this field, if you manage to provide some value, some new insight, you will find a market there. And why did I created a training cybersecurity company? It's because the fact that we are lacking so much people, if we want to reverse that, we need to provide training. But the training actually is not that good. And I say that as in France, we have a lot of great school. We have a lot of great engineers, doctors in technical field. But still, if you live not, if you don't live in a city, you may not access to good school. And the training online, we all know Udemy, we all know YouTube. It's great when we want to learn. But if you want a full journey, a diploma certification, it's not ideal, especially as they don't provide practical platform. So I was like, okay, how can we create something that cross the path of everything like this? That's why my company, Neo Cybercamp, we thought about creating a place with very good content, with a technical platform so that people that lack money to buy licenses or equipment can train directly in the browser. We partner for certification with Storm Shield, ISC2, Linux, Linux Partner Institute, Professional Institute, sorry, and so on. And we also provide French diploma, and we're working to create European diplomas. But this is just about me, and to finish, I'm also part of the French Tech, Sofia. We are a non-profit organization that create events that tries to connect people who want to connect with French people, to go on the French market, to go on the international market through France. We offer this possibility through our network, through our events. So if you are in Sofia, we are creating events every month. I really advise you to come whenever you want if you want to meet nice people in the business field, Bulgarian, French, or other nationalities. So, about cyber, I told you it's a good market right now, but things are changing. You know why? It's because of AI. We hear about AI everywhere. Software developer, they're afraid they will lose their job. Lawyers, doctors, and everything. Everyone is fearing for the job because the AI race is going too fast. And it's true that in cybersecurity, things are moving as well. Not really in a bad way. Like if you use AI to protect your company, it's a great addition. If you use AI to attack companies, you should not. But the danger is here because of that. It opens new doors. The fact that tools are more accessible for the good things and the bad things. And how is the market impacted by that? For the moment, not that much. Recently, Claude, the AI from Anthropic, they brought something specialized, like kind of an agent specialized in cybersecurity. And yeah, of course, it moves a bit the market, but still, we are not so close to destroy the cybersecurity market, because if AI brings threats, we need people to defend against these threats. And as AI use a lot of infrastructure, we need people in infrastructure. Right now in France, DevOps engineer is one of the most looking job. Not enough people are good enough to work in DevOps. A lot of them were trained in software development, so we have too much people of that. But we lack of infrastructure people, DevOps people, DevSecOps people. And I think it will increase with the AI race, because when you need computer power, when you need networks, the AI, it's not ready to manage this. You still need human to go in data centers, you still need human to configure the equipment. So we have few years delay if we compare to the software engineer market. So about that, in AI, I think for the moment, for the cybersecurity market, it brings more good things than bad things when we compare to other markets and other jobs. Then we need to talk about education. As I said, in France and in other countries, there are objectively good schools. Like even in Sofia, I know the technical university, it has very good reputation. But if you're not in Sofia, how can you manage? For the people living in the small villages, for the people living in other cities, if you don't have access to this place, I don't say there are not other good school, but when you want to reach the best school, you need to be near the place. It's logical. So that's why since the last years, there has been some development in online training. But the problem with online training is that because it's accessible to create, we had a lot of garbage training, let's say, with not so much work on the videos, not so much work on the pedagogy, not so much, mentoring. And when you're online, if you don't provide a platform for the practical part, it's very difficult for you to learn IT and especially cybersecurity because you need to practice. So you need an environment and you need licenses, you need some tools to work on. So I know in Bulgaria, I think with Telerik, they work something very nice. Not sure if it's in cyber, but in other domains, they created something good. And I know there are some other provider that manage to create some nice things. Because in Bulgaria, you have a very good level in English, you are naturally oriented to American solutions or let's say English solution. And I think about TrackMe, Hack the Box, Cybery. Those are very good platforms. Those because there are a lot of content. They are practical oriented. The only problem is that they are not really granting diplomas or good certification. They provide their certification. So in the job market, it's not really it's not really I don't have the word in English. Recognize. It's very specialized by the platform. So let's say it's good for you, it's good for your knowledge, it's good for your LinkedIn profile, but it's not the same thing as getting a real diplomas from a university. And about that, we talk about AI in cyber. What is AI in education? I think it will change a lot of things because myself, I'm selling training, I'm selling diplomas, but I have to admit that in few years, if AI continue to develop as now, at the same speed or even goes faster, uh, I don't think the training will be the same as now because the capabilities, it will be possible for an AI with the good platform to determine if you are on the right path. It will check your level on real time. It will create an environment, especially for the thing you are lacking experience on. It will check if you understood automatically some resources. So right now, the traditional and the e-learning um, subject, I don't think they won't change for the few years. But in 5 or 10 years, education will change radically. I'm sure 100% of that. And about that, if people want to start business, because we're talking about business now and not about education or cybersecurity, what I will say is you have a lot of opportunities. Because if you want to provide some services or some product oriented in cybersecurity, there are few fields in this field. You can be an attacker. You can be defending. You can be in what we call, I know in France it's governance, like the regulation and things like this. You can be in project management. You can be responsible of the security of your IT. And this in the business, it's a lot of opportunities because let's say you go on one field. I give you an example. In France, a few years ago, hospitals were targeted very much by the cyber attackers. Why? Because they have money. Of course, it's big hospital with hundreds of thousands of employees. And because they are not so well funded, they are not so well protected. So hospitals were very targeted in the past. And we had cyber attack in France about this, where hospital lost millions of euros, where the IT was not working for days because of that. And this is one sub-market. But then the non-profit were targeted because in France, some non-profit, they get a lot of money. Then we had the municipalities. A lot of them were targeted as well. So if you create something like a service company or product company targeting some not well aware about what is happening, or doesn't have enough money to have an IT service, to have a cybersecurity specialist, there is something to do there. Right now, in the startup ecosystem in France, the cybersecurity company that started very well and raised a lot of money, like recently we have one who raised 18,000, 18 millions euro. They created a product that is pen testing. Okay, I don't know if you know the term pen testing, but that is attacking to protect your company. So just to check if everything is right. That is automating all your team with AI. So the software is checking every day, every hour or whatever you configure it, and the AI will check everywhere if there are some threats, if there are some problems, and they will get a report and they will say, okay, you need to correct this because now, let's say, an attacker can come through this and can attack you and can make a lot of problems with your IT. And I know a US company who did that like 1 or 2 years ago. This is some kind of very good idea because this is the kind of services that if you do it yourself as a cyber specialist, let's say in freelance or as a company, it will cost thousands and thousands of euros. Like maybe if you want for a big company a full audit about your cybersecurity, you will give 50,000 euro, 100,000 euro. So if you use your business to solve this problem and say, look, my product, you pay it a few hundred euro per month, and it will tell you every day if you have any problem. And it can even tell you how you can be protected. This is some kind of good idea, and proof is there. This company get funded very well. They get a lot of clients. Another way is to think in the opposite, because now I am speaking on a false attacker, but you can think about creating some tool that automatically defend you. Right now, I'm just speaking like the ideas that come to my head. But yesterday or before yesterday, there was a French tech meeting with the different company in Europe in cybersecurity. And it was a big success because this is a field that is, what is the word in English? Not age, but you know, people are aware of that. Few years ago, nobody cared about cybersecurity. Why? Because nobody cared about IT. IT in a company, it's a cost. It doesn't bring money. So when you're a businessman, you're like, okay, this is costing me money. So I try to not care about that. I care about making money. And if you pay a lot for server, for computers and things like this, then you have to protect them. But to protect them, it's a very valuable knowledge. So you pay someone very much for that. That means for years and years, nobody cared about that. But because more and more attacks are coming and more attacks are making noise in France, in England, in Belgium, let's say Western Europe and North America, the market is very conscious about that they need to do something. They need to protect themselves. Otherwise, the company, they can close. Like I've seen in my career, small companies that get attacked with ransomware that lost all their data, and then the company have no choice but to close. So this is something real, and this is something where with the reglementation now, with the rules, like I think you heard about NIS2 in the European reglementation, soon it will be mandatory for a lot of companies to get protected. So because of that, you have a lot of opportunities to make business because they will need help. They don't know what to do. There are not enough people to tell them what to do. So there is an opportunity, there is a market. So, oh wow, already 30 minutes. Okay, is there anyone have any question about that? Because I after that I will turn around on the same subject.
I mean, not around that. I would love to understand about startups. So I understand security is important, but just in a startup environment, we don't have much budget. So solving the problem of being secure without having budget, even for training, you need budget. For anything, you need budget. So how do we be secure without budget?
It's an excellent question. You need to have a bit of awareness or a bit of training yourself. So you will start your company. It's your job to know what to do. Nobody else will do it for you. So unfortunately, you will have to put a bit of money or at least a bit of time because there are a lot of free resources on the internet. I think if you have zero knowledge in IT of cybersecurity, you need to train, let's say just look 40 hours of videos. It's enough. And you will create some foundations. And with this foundation, you will understand, okay, I need to be careful about that. To give you a simple example, I told you companies that closed because they lost their data. Why did they lose their data? They got attacked. Yeah, of course, they could have prevented that. But something easier, they could have some backup of their data and take this data in new IT infrastructure. But because they didn't manage the backup, they lost everything. It was finished. It's over. It's over. So you, if you're for your startup, you're like, okay, you know what? First thing first, I will have a computer that I will use only for my business. I will never download something that I should not on my computer business. I will never let anyone touch my computer business. I will have a backup, let's say every week about the data about that. I will have multi-factor authentication on my account. I will maybe once a year just call a friend who is an IT specialist and say, look, can you check for me just one day if there is something bad, something wrong? And just if you do that, you're ahead of 80% of people. You know, even in the biggest company, they have, let's say, dozens of people managing IT and cybersecurity. But when they get hacked, it's because the accountant or the secretary, they open a link that they shouldn't have opened. And they know that, or they should know that, but they didn't pay attention during the sensitivity training or something like this. So even if you have 100,000 euro of equipment, because one small door was opened by someone, it impacted everyone. Of course, after you can centralize things and let's say cut different access and things like this. But if you are in a startup and let's say you have a Google Drive for everyone has the same access to everything. If one gets impacted, everyone is impacted.
So, and just a follow-up question. Are there any companies or are there security companies that are willing to do pro bono work to establish a relationship with a startup? What I mean is the company, they're a cybersecurity company, maybe Bulgarian based, maybe you're foreign. Would they be willing to spend a bit of consulting days to help us get to a good standard with understanding that going forward, annual pen tests and all these things we can do together?
Yeah, I mean, what you're saying, it's kind of a marketing way. I know some companies providing service. They say, look, we give you a free audit about, let's say, 30%, 40% of what you do, like the the principal causes, and they say, okay, you have nothing on your principal causes. That doesn't mean you doesn't have something behind. Or look, we found something in front of your door. Do you want us to go further or do you just want to take the risk? So you could go to cybersecurity company, or my advice would be to go to freelancers and say, look, you take 300 euro per days, uh, just give me half the price and we'll work together. Like we make a contract every 6 months. You come look at my startup or something like this. It will be easier than a company because the company, they will have some process. But if you check on a website, a cybersecurity audit, I'm pretty sure you can find people who will do it for free, but just to have the foot on the door.
Okay.
Can I add something?
Yeah, please.
So there is the European Digital Hub in
Yes.
Bulgaria. So they provide free help for companies, and I actually I have been using them for a program. They uh, they try your system, they look what they can do for you, and it's quite a good plan for a startup which don't have any funds for cyber security. So that's a thing
Yeah,
that you can think about for.
it's true. The European Union is also putting something called cyber skills. It's free resources. Sometimes it's for special population, like let's say they want women in cybersecurity or they want poor people in cybersecurity. There are some different fields, but they created something where they partner with companies like Storm Shield, like Orange, or things like this, ISC2 as well. So you can find sometimes free certification provided by the company in the European Union. So if you are curious, you can find very good resources there. Cyber skills from Europe.
Yeah. So I have been using them, and it's really good. For me, it was
Yeah,
really good. It was free.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the first surprised because usually what is doing European Union, it's a bit too much bureaucratic. But for this, I've talked with them last year, and they're really in the mindset of helping people, helping a lot of people in difficulties. And when I checked it, I was really surprised. It's very good quality.
I think that I used some hub that is connected for the thing that you are saying, but not directly. So it's Trakia Hub, the name of the company,
Mhm.
or I don't know what they actually. It's Hub. So they are Trakia Hub, and they make stuff like that. So you can look it up, Christo. It's quite good.
Thank you.
Okay, any more questions? Perfect.
I mean, are you going to present more, or now it's going into a discussion mode?
Yeah, I think now, I mean, if you don't have any question, I don't have much to say, but
I mean,
because
no, I think we can use the opportunity, right? I mean, there's a small group here. We can probably use because there's, I think, like 20 minutes. You mentioned NIST, and you mentioned some requirements that will require us to have pen test, and we cannot just do it ourselves. We need to go reach out to a company. This company needs to be certified, maybe in some way. So what does the company needs to be certified with? And then when are we NIST? We need to get NIST, for example.
Nice, it's going by what is the word? You know, it's not like everything at one place. It's going by a range, let's say, and the impact of NIS depends on what kind of company are you. Like, let's say if you are in defense, let's say if you are in industry, let's say if you are for food, the requirements are not the same because the impact of the country or the Europe will not be the same. Let's say if tomorrow the food company stops working, it will be really dangerous for the continent. So the requirements for them are a bit more extended than just for startup, let's say. And there is also, I think, because I'm not a niche specialist, I just checked the referential. There is also a way, like depending of the size of the company, it's not the same regulation, let's say obligations. And about that, there will be more and more sensitivity training and awareness training because it's something that kind of is linked to everyone because it's for all Europe regulation. So everyone needs to be aware of that. But you know, in the thinking and in the applicate the way, it's never the same. It's always, let's say, we want everyone to do this, to respect this, but in the fact, it's never the case because you know, for Nice, it's if you are IT director, of course, this is something you need to be aware of. It will be your responsibility to be respecting for your company these things. But in, let's say, most popular certifications, you have things like ISO. In cybersecurity, it's 27001. This is something important, but this is something you do when you're a big company or a sensitive company. If you are a startup, nobody will ever ask you that. And even if they ask, it's because you are growing very fast and you need to be certified for some reasons. There is SOC 2. This is a bit more important because it's a bit more accessible, let's say, to get a SOC 2 certificate instead of ISO. But still, it's a way that your IT, your informations, they are well managed, let's say. You follow good processes, and because you follow good processes, you get certified that you are following these processes. So the company you will work with, they will be like, okay, I know we are kind of a security because they respect these things. But let's say tomorrow you create a business that is so nice, your product is so great, the companies, they will not care. They will be like, okay, it's a startup, their product is great, I want it, so I will take it. And maybe in the future, if you work with governments, if you work with a defense company or something, they will say, okay, now, if we want to work together, you will need to get some certification or we won't work together.
Understand. So for a normal company, and anyone in the call who wants to ask a question, please raise a hand. I'm just using the time. For a normal company, for a normal like a game or something like that, we don't need to worry about any requirements because there's just no requirements. We're not sensitive, nothing.
At the beginning, no.
I
At the
see.
beginning, just focus from yourself because your company have 99% of chance of die. And I say that because I've created company that didn't work, and the only thing you need to focus is product or service and finding customers. When you do that, you will have money, you'll have peace of mind, and you'll be like, okay, maybe I can call a freelance to help me on sensitivity of protecting my company and things like this. But before that, if your company is not going to survive the year, why would you bother with things like this?
Okay. Understand. Yeah. And in terms of insurance, I think that's also a common thing, like cyber insurance. I mean, is it worth paying for a penetration test, whereas you may have a cyber insurance that covers if something goes wrong?
It's two different things because let's say someone is attacking you and this resulted to make problem to your customers. So your customers, they will say, oh, because you've been attacked, you're making me problem. So I want you to pay me because of that. So there, the insurance, it makes sense, but it's not mandatory that it will be a cybersecurity insurance. It can be a normal one that covers for everything. Like, in France, when you take an apartment, you need to take an insurance, and the insurance is covering you for terrorism. Because it covers everything. But now it's kind of trending to have a cybersecurity insurance because the market is making a lot of noise about cybersecurity. But it's not really mandatory. It's more, this is a good question. Like, if you need to cover your company, you need to do it quite early because as the moment as you work with people, there is risk that the people, they can get back at you. And yeah, if it's a limited company and as a president of the company, you didn't do anything wrong, you are liable only for the capital of your company. So it's not that big a problem. But let's say if you want some peace of mind, or when your company is valuable, when you have employees and things like this, at this moment, yeah, if someone is suing you for 1 million euro, it's better to have an insurance because otherwise your company can close, except if you have that in the treasury. But you're not a startup anymore, I think, if you're at that stage.
Yeah. Okay.
Max, I have one question.
Uh-huh.
So if So if we understand, if we find out that we have been attacked, we have so what we should do, what are the first steps in the first hours, first 24 hours, what we have to do in order to protect ourselves?
There are few ways of answering that, because it depends if you are really alone or if it's all your company, or if you have some kind of specialist around you that can investigate and do some forensic. But you need to isolate the machine the best that you can, because otherwise it can go to other places, and that means if one is infected, the other can be infected as well. But you need to be careful to not touch the machine, because if you do things on it, people can have put some automation that will disappear. But if you want the police to investigate or some specialist to investigate, everything needs to be the same, because the forensic will be at this moment, and maybe they can try to find how did you get attacked, who attacked you, how they attacked you. And if you do something wrong, let's say if you unplug the computer or something like this, maybe all the information can go, and it will be difficult to investigate after that. But the most important is to isolate. But technically, if you have some cybersecurity or IT awareness, isolation, it's one of the core of the security. When you do network, you don't have one network with everything at the same place. No, you isolate the servers, you isolate the accountant, you isolate the business people, so that if someone comes, it will only infected one range of people, not everyone. So this is kind of good principle that you see in IT even before training cybersecurity. And yeah, after that, depending how you manage, I know in France we have kind of electronic IT consortium that you need to call or to send a mail saying I've been attacked. Like it's in the law that you need to tell them you've been attacked. And with GDPR, if some personal data has been leaked, depending on the site, depending on the information, you need to tell your customers or your partners that you have been attacked. So there is some letters, some emails to send to say, look, to this day, this happened. And because this happened, you lost this data. This is a mix of your country regulator and the European regulator. So it really depends how you have been affected.
Thank you very much. And what about if our emails are hacked somehow? What can we do? The
If
email.
if you lost access to your email, it's very bad, because technically they can get access to everywhere you are registered. So if you can change your password and hope that they won't manage to get it back. But if nowadays, the best is to not being hacked at the email, because we need to use multi-factor authentication. It's kind of easy to lose the password, because one of the most common password are password or 1234, and this is bullshit, but it's still the case. Like every year there are some results of what are the most common hacked password, and it's always the same coming every year. So people are just stupid. We can't do anything about that. But nowadays, if you miss your password 3 times, your account will be blocked and you can't start again after 15 minutes or 1 hour. So this is kind of a first layer of protection. Then the best thing to do is to have multi-factor authentication. That means you need to know your password, and you need to get, let's say, a token from your phone, or you will receive the code by messages that will ask you to put. And this is a very good protection, because the people, they don't have your phone, they don't have your email, so they can't get the code. So even if they get your password, and I recommend that you have an alert when you connect somewhere, because if someone succeed to connect, you will receive the alert and you can do something about it. If you don't receive anything, you can't know about it, and it's very dangerous. And yeah, so really, the day your email has been hacked, you did something wrong, because nowadays there are kind of a lot of protection about that, and it's not the most used attack. Like they will either try to get to know you with social engineering. So let's say I will ask you, what is your dog name? Where when you're born? Where do you live? I will try some combination about this. But even that, if I try, let's say 3 times, you will receive an alert that someone tried to connect. So it will raise to you, oh, someone is trying something. I should need to change my password and everything. And if your password, it's, let's say, 16 characters with letters and characters and things like this, nobody can brute force it, especially if you have a multi-factor authentication. So yeah, the first layer to protect is this one, I think.
Thank you very much for this advice.
No problem.
Thank you. So, do you have other questions? Anybody from our participants? Any questions to Max?
Well, it's quite big topic and complicated topic, so not really.
Yeah, we are not experts in cybersecurity. We even don't
Exactly.
know what the questions to ask.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was a difficult topic for today, because the mix of cybersecurity and business and training, it's difficult, you know. If in front of me I had IT specialist, I could have gone deep. If you told me, okay, just speak about how to target the market of cybersecurity in business, I could have gone deep on that. But because of the mix of everything, it's a bit difficult to give something really adapted to the audience.
Anyway, so it was useful for us. It was very interesting, and we got some advices, very useful advices. So thank you very much for your participation for this webinar. Thank you for joining us today, and thanks for the others also for joining us. And I want to wish you have a nice Friday evening.
Thank you.
And
We'll
stay
meet in Sofia.
protected. Stay protected.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take
Thank
care
you
of the
very much.
Thanks, Max.
cybersecurity.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ciao,
Have a
ciao.
nice
Bye-bye.
day.
Thank
Ciao.
you. Bye.